From time to time, Apple really do innovate when they bring new features to their Macs. After last week's list of the worst, here are some of the best features I think Apple Macs have ever had, some of which got taken away from us far too early. First up, the Force Touch trackpad. Apple have been ahead of the game for over a decade now when it comes to the trackpads on their laptops. Starting with the MacBook Pro and 12-inch MacBook lines in 2015, the Force Touch trackpad was introduced. And the big change was, it didn't actually click. The sound and feeling of a click was simulated by the Taptic engine hidden underneath the trackpad. It would release a tiny vibration, a bit like pressing and holding something on an iPhone, and a clicking sound would come from the MacBook's stereo speakers. For most people, the trackpad is a laptop part that gets pretty quickly looked over and ignored after purchase. But that's the beauty of the Force Touch trackpad. It fixed things like dirt getting in and blocking you from clicking, and the top of the pad being harder to click like on regular trackpads, but it felt so similar to previous models that most people didn't realise anything had changed. When you take away moving parts from electronics, they tend to last a lot longer as there's a smaller chance of mechanical failures building up over time. The Force Touch trackpad senses how hard you're pressing too, which gives you a third type of click to interact with the OS with. It's especially useful for things like drawing in creative apps. Apple's trackpads haven't changed hugely since 2015, but they have got a lot bigger. Personally, I prefer bigger trackpads, and it's surprising how small a lot of Windows laptop trackpads still are, especially since most of them are still of the older clicking style. This one's a bit more of a blast from the past, but the mechanism built into the case of the classic Mac Pro Tower was really mind-bending. This was Apple at the top of their design game. The entire side panel is unlocked by lifting this lever, which lets you open the case like this. The lever doubles as a lock for the SATA drive bays though, which slide in and out like something out of the ship from Alien. Lever down, storage drives locked into place. Lever up, and out they come. Really, it's modular, hot swappable storage, although I wouldn't recommend taking a spinning hard drive out of any computer while it's running. The mid-case fan doubles as a lock for the PCIe slots in this Mac, by the way. You press the button on the fan and drag it to the left to open the slot so you can take out your PCIe cards. Then you drag it to the right to lock things back into place again. Those mechanical clicks you hear are like some sort of safe being locked. It's really cool, and such a pity that removable storage drives and other parts have been all but dropped by Apple over the last decade or so. Next, this probably doesn't count as innovation, but you used to be able to change the brightness of the keyboard backlight using the function keys on Apple laptops. It's one of those convenient things that I didn't realise the true significance of until it was gone. The feature was introduced in roughly 2001 and was removed in most MacBooks by the year 2020. It's hard to pin down exact dates here, as the 2020 Intel MacBook Airs had keyboard brightness on their function keys, while the M1s of the same year did not. I would certainly take it back over the dictation and spotlight keys, since those already had long-standing keyboard shortcuts, but that could just be me. I want to have a quick break now to talk about the VideoRig 2 Pro from APEXEL, who were kind enough to send one over for me to check out. The VideoRig is a mount that lets you use a load of different accessories while filming using your smartphone. I'm one of those creators who shoots everything using an iPhone, so adding a rig like this to my phone gives it an upgrade in some ways. The main mount, which holds the phone, is the centre of it all. Everything else attaches to that really, and as you can see I've got APEXEL's grip handle mounted to one side. The tech inside the grip did really impress me, to be honest. It doubles as a battery pack, so it gives you a lot more shooting time, and it's got a shutter button on the top. The button comes right off though, and it turns into a remote since it pairs with phones using Bluetooth. There are loads of mounting points for standard camera accessories back on the frame too, and APEXEL make mounts for bikes and more, as well as extra lenses you can add to the blue attachment if you want to compose a scene differently. This isn't a paid ad, so I don't have to pretend this is some miracle piece of kit. Versatile and modular is how I describe the VideoRig though, and it's looking likely I'll be using one of these to shoot future channel videos. It certainly doesn't feel like it costs hundreds of dollars, as the plastic feels a little bit flimsy on the grip, but it really is a great starting point if you want to improve your mobile cinematography. You get more battery life, more points to attach accessories to, and you get a remote you can control the camera with. All in a package you can get a really nice grip on thanks to it being shaped like a traditional camera grip. If you like what you see, you can get 15% off the VideoRig Pro 2 using the link in this video's description when you use the code on screen now. Alright, back to those innovative features. This one's a bit boring on the surface, but the completely silent fanless design introduced into the MacBook Air from 2020 was a real game changer in so many ways. 2020 was the year Apple first put their own ARM processors into their laptops, which became known as Apple Silicon. So generally, if a laptop's completely silent, it means no moving parts like fans. No fans means the laptop isn't generating a lot of heat. If there's not a lot of heat generated, it means the processor isn't consuming very much power. And if there's not much power going through the CPU, then generally it isn't going to be a particularly powerful computer. That was just how it worked until the M1 chip of 2020. Apple managed to reach a perfect balance of efficiency and power with that processor, and it was able to beat even the most powerful MacBooks with Intel processors that came before it. Those laptops all had fans inside, which would kick in once a slightly demanding app was opened. The move to a fanless design with Apple Silicon chips was a big jump forwards. It meant that the very smallest and lightest of laptops were able to be used as editing machines using really heavy video editing software, as well as all sorts of music and photography apps. That's partly why the fanless M1 MacBook Air of 2020 has such a big place in my heart. So many of my videos have been edited on the one I own, and it's absolutely blazed through the task every time. The world of Windows laptops is starting to catch up with the highly efficient Apple Silicon chips, but the whole industry is kind of split right now. Most computers either use power-hungry, full steam ahead x86-based chips, which Macs used to use, or ARM-based chips, which are more power efficient and have humongous potential despite not being fully optimized for all purposes right now. Apple currently only makes ARM-based computers, so it is safe to say they've well and truly chosen their side at this point. So there we have it. From time to time, Apple are still capable of wowing us and staying ahead of their competitors. I do wish Macs could still work like the classic Mac Pro Tower I mentioned earlier, but I think those days are kind of far behind us now. Thank you very much for watching. As always, a special thank you to my Patreon members who keep me in business making these videos. If you're into Macs, old or new, consider subscribing so you don't miss next week's video. Remember, you can get 15% off APEXEL's VideoRig 2 Pro using the link in the description with the code on screen now. Subscribers, I'll see you next week.